of the creative industry and what it means to truly diversify and challenge narrow-minded caricatures. This series will discuss in detail the positive effects of allowing black creatives to have more autonomy and maintain control over their own work, therefore also how they can redesign the characteristics of black people, but also step over the associated stereotypes that are negative in film media, but also that can exist in acting and directing professionals. But also discussing its importance. And today I'm joined by Dinah Naitamu, a young director, filmmaker, and actor, LFCS ex FBI, BFI, Future Film Academy graduate, all in all, an emerging talent to the creative industry. Hello, Dinah. So it's lovely to have you on here. But for some clarity, could you just tell me a bit about yourself? In terms of, let's say, what does a busy day look like for you?
Yeah. So a busy day for me, like on set, would be like an equal time. So I'd wake up early. Um, I'd make sure to have my breakfast because my belly's always loud on set. And then I'd like in the morning on the journey to set, I'd probably go through my script, and whatever scenes that I'm filming that day. And then just greet my crew, ask how they are, meet my actors for the day, go through their lines, do some blocking, and then start shooting. And then my day could finish anywhere between like maybe 1 or 6 p.m. Um,
So, what exactly inspired you to get into this field? Do you have any inspirations in particular?
yeah, I think initially I was always creative and acting, and at that time I was really big into Marvel. And so I kind of took a lot of inspiration from Ryan Coogler because he directed Black Panther, and I really respected his work and I really enjoyed it. Um, and then I ended up going to film school, doing lots of like extracurricular activities, and really enjoying it.
If you don't mind me asking, which film school did you attend and how was it?
So I go to London Screen Academy, and I'm in my last year there.
If you don't mind me asking, which film school did you attend and how was it?
So I go to London Screen Academy, and I'm in my last year there, which is foundation year, and I really enjoyed it. I think it helped me grow in terms of like confidence quite a lot, and it helped me as a filmmaker, but then also to like expand my network and meet such amazing people in the industry.
Uh, and like, so obviously you've been doing this for a good amount of time, and although you're still emerging, you are quite experienced in your field, and do have a solid. You do sound like you have a solid idea of the type of things that you are looking for or what you want to do. But have you ever felt underestimated or overlooked, perhaps because of your identity? Um, and how do you handle that if you did?
Creators should definitely just be proactive, especially in the kind of industry where we sometimes expected to just wait for the phone to ring, wait for opportunities to find you. I think um, it does take a lot, but I think seeking opportunities for yourself and really putting yourself out there is the best way to get your foot in the door. Yeah.
Great advice. So now about your own work. You directed and produced Scheduling My Grief, which um, features a young black teen, Nia, or Naya, whose grandmother has passed, and she struggles with the guilt of not being able to mourn her death. But through this ordeal, she's able to connect. She's more inspired to connect with her culture. Now, could you tell a bit more about this? Why you decided to write it? Uh, why? Yeah, why?
I wrote this as my final year project for year 13, and I really wanted to try something different as my first year project. I wrote a like coming of age film, and it was quite light-hearted, and I just really wanted to push myself as this was kind of my last project and my chance to do something on a bigger scale. And this came from my story and from stories that I'd spoke about with friends who are also second generation immigrants, as I'd not really seen kind of depictions of grief like that in British media in particular. And so I wanted to make something that I'd never seen and something that reflected my experiences.
Is there like any other work that you yourself have created that you want to share with us as well?
Yeah, I just wrapped on a film called Ancestors. I don't actually know how much I'm allowed to say about it, but it's again sort of light-hearted, but then also quite dramatic, and that should be coming out in the next year. That was a mass learning experience, and it was the biggest crew that I'd worked with, and something that again I feel like I could really be proud of and really pushed me as an actor.
So, speaking of those like some themes, are those themes and messages that you feel more compelled to explore your work, like grief and just essentially like uh, a type of the exploring the world of a young black girl going through something like I based the space of Chewing Gum by Michaela Coel. Have you watched it?
I've seen a couple of episodes, but I haven't really watched it.
Yeah, so basically it's quite unhinged, it's quite chaotic because what you have is she's not young, she's 26 or 24, so mid 20s, so it's, yeah, she is young, mid 20s, and but she does make, quote, very childish mistakes because she was raised in a strictly culturally, traditionally religious household. So a lot of the things, when you have values that are been passed down from generation to generation and haven't changed, when you put that in perspective of a person who's raised on those values but now has to interact with the modern world where things are very, very different, it becomes quite chaotic and quite unhinged, and I think that experience, although hers was mostly sexually, for the rest of us it could be simple what it means to be placed in a society that is constantly changing, constantly expects things of you. Yeah, so I think that's really, really interesting. But do you feel pressure on as a director to represent the broader black experience, or are you more focused on like telling personal truths?
Yeah, I feel like um, I kind of reflect stories of kind of similar to myself, but then all the people I've grown up with and the people that I've interacted with throughout my life so far, because I feel like stories are more unique and more special if they're really unique, really complex, rather than just focusing on like a broad range of people because we're like so different. Um, and like I grew up as quote unquote a weird black girl, and I feel like these stories aren't always like represented in media, and I think it's stuff that people really want to see, and that's the kind of stuff that I'm really focused on making.
On a final note, so what advice, let's say, would you give to a younger black filmmaker who's just starting out? Like, what legacy do you hope to leave, not just as a filmmaker, but also as a director shaping culture? Like, we got, like you said, Ryan Coogler, who's also, because we don't often see black vampires in film, so that's pretty much open. The success of the film has, let's say, it definitely opened new doors to exploring black fantasy. But as we know, a lot of black led shows aren't given the green light, which is why a lot of us, or they are given the green light, or they're just not given the attention or publicity they need. Do you think that there's certain changes needed to be made in order to avoid that happening, especially for yourself?
Yeah, I think that our stories definitely need to be commissioned and treated with care. And when revisions are made to scripts and to stories, I feel like it shouldn't be focused on kind of like pandering to like a wider audience. I think that the writers and the creators target audience should always be kind of in mind when we're developing shows and developing films. um, and I think just more complex and nuanced stories need to be funded and be commissioned, because I want to see like a wide variety of people, not just like, while Top Boy is a great show from what I've seen, I think we see quite a lot of these Black British kind of characters in like gangs and stuff like that. But I want to see like girls my age in film and TV, and like kind of, I don't know, hang out over like comics or like music and stuff like that. Like we're not a monolith, and I feel like we're starting to see that in film and TV, but I just really want to see that kind of more. So maybe with like writers grants and filmmakers grants, I think that can really push like original and different like storytelling to our screens.
Thank you so much for coming today. It's been a very insightful conversation. It's been wonderful to have you over as well. As for the audience, thank you so much for watching. Do tune, although this is the end of the series, do tune in to the next episodes that are coming with just as great talks from other young aspiring Black creators.